Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Leak, joined as always by my man, Uncle T. And today we have a very special guest for you guys. He was the star of the hit Netflix show Last Chance U, won a Jayhawk Conference Championship, and was the Jayhawk Coach of the Year back in 2017. He's also the author of the Amazon bestseller, Hate Me Now, Love Me Later. And now he hosts his own podcast, The JB Show with Big Smitty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're hyped to welcome to the show Coach Jason Brown, baby. Thank you for joining us, JB.
Hey, anytime, brother. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So I'll just start by asking, I saw on a bunch of the podcasts you did after the show came out that you said you never actually watched the show. Have you still never seen it all the way through?
Never watched it, man. I just can't fathom going to watch that shit. I guess I lived it, so I don't need to see it. Now, I've seen clips, of course, and all these different things that social media shows you and that people sent me. But so when the show came out, the producers sent my boss and I a few of the episodes to get ahead of PR-wise, just to, so we knew what we were facing. And so we watched a few clips and segments of it back before the world got to see it. And I was like, I don't want to watch this shit. So that was for me. So since then, that was in 17 or whatever. Since then, I haven't seen much of any of the second one at all, as far as clips or anything. So the first one, though, I saw a little bit more of than the second one.
Gotcha. I think I probably watched it through 10 times. It's like my favorite show of all time. Do you think you'll ever get back into coaching at this point, or are you good just doing your podcast? And I know you have your cigar and your whiskey and all that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. No burning desire to do it unless it's the right fit. It's got to be a full autonomy. It's got to be given to me. It's got to be one of those deals where the administration's not scared and they understand that show was an edited show. It was real, but they surely edited it. I'll tell you that. I found that out after the fact.
Yeah.
So they wanted the ratings, of course, and it was the highest rated show and one of the most watched shows ever on Netflix, and still is, by the way. It's still on Netflix for a reason.
Right.
And, they've made billions of dollars off my name, and I got $0. I did get blackballed, and I did get kind of thrown out of the profession, but they sure made a lot of money. Let me fucking tell you that.
Yeah. How did they? So they didn't give you a dime. You never saw a dime from the show.
Not a dime, man. Not one dime. And I
crazy,
know numbers wise. I have numbers. I know what they made off me. I know what how many people saw it. There's over 400 million eyeballs on that thing. One of the most. It is the most binge watched show of all time on any cinematic viewing streaming platform. Number one of all time. No, didn't get $1.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're both big fans of the show. How was the culture shock aspect of showing up in Independence, Kansas from where you were before? I know it's small town USA, so I know the kids, JUCO, I know not always the same, but most of them there for the same reason. Good athletes, sometimes didn't work out at a major university, or they're trying to get their grades up, whatever it may be. But being in the middle of nowhere in Kansas had to be a little bit different for you.
Yeah, man. Here's the deal. So I played there. I went to college. I played college ball in Kansas on the other side of the state. Western Kansas. Not much different. And then I coached in Western Kansas at Garden City Community College before I took the Indy job. I was briefly with the Chiefs, and I know the area. So I've been in the Kansas. I had a lot of good friends in the state, a lot of good relationships. So it wasn't a shock to me because I took my daughter there when she was 18 months old to play college ball at Fort Hays State in Kansas. So I fully familiar with the state. And the player-wise, to correct your statement, those players I selected and recruited there. So the players that I brought in there, I knew who they were. So that was the big difference. And I didn't just take a bunch of guys that I didn't know. I did inherit a program in Independence that was so bad that I had to basically reculture the whole program, build the weight room, build everything. And a lot of those players that I inherited, they either bought in and, I was going to figure out real quick, day one, day two, if you're going to even have a shot at making this team. And a lot of them didn't. A lot of them got out of Dodge. They knew better. They knew this was a new regime and a new situation. And there was a new sheriff in town, and some guys bought in, some didn't. And I told all of them, I'm going to recruit to replace all of you. And that's what we did. And, 8, 9, 10, 11 NFL guys on those 3 years roster. 101 guys went Division I in 3 years, which is a national record. It'll never be broken. And then everyone graduated. Everyone moved on. No one got arrested. Nobody died on the team. Nobody's got kicked out of a 4-year institution after leaving mine. All those things are what makes me sleep well at night, not wins and losses, even though we were the first team in school history to win it all and get that first bowl win and ring, and 30 years drought for winning the conference title, and all the things that we brought to that community with Netflix's notoriety and publicity. I sleep well at night, not worried about the naysayers.
Yeah, it's all the good things that Netflix doesn't cover, right? They just want the viewership and get all the the money from that. So did they give? I know you didn't make a penny off it. You said that, but so for independents to take that, did the school, did they at least build a weight room for you guys or do anything like that? Or then why would they?
No, they didn't do shit for us. They gave the school $30,000 a year. And that was it. And they would have been there as long as I was there. They were going to be there. This show would still be going if I was still there. I promise you that. But
that was one of my questions. I was curious if you thought they were going to, if they would have stayed, like had you stayed there another couple of years, were they just going to keep going with you guys?
Yeah, they were going to keep going. The owner of Netflix, Reed Hastings, personally used to hit me up and text me, and he gave me a lot of money to build a turf field. He gave me a donation, some things like that. The owner of Netflix. Other than that, they were like, Coach, without you, this is not a show. And they found out when I left because I think they went to some other school in Northern California, and it was the worst rated show they did. So, they found out real quick. So they reached back out and was like, man, are you going to go coach again? And I was like, I don't know. You guys fucked me. So, basically, that was kind of where it was, man. That's kind of where it was left at. And since then, it is what it is. There's not a lot of people knocking down my door because I think people are so scared in this finicky time we're in, cancel culture and everything else. You can't really do what you want. But the crazy part is, I will pay you money if you can find somebody that I coach who's talk shit about me on social media. I haven't seen it, but guess what? Everyone that was not there sure knows me better than I guess my players do.
Yeah. I told Turner before, I rewatched the show. I've seen it a million times, but there's that clip where you guys in the second season go to the lake and your guys are trying to tackle you to get you in the water. And it's like, how many coaches do players have a relationship with like that who would even attempt to do that? Like, you can just tell how much they love you in the show, and it might not show it, every scene, but it's something I picked up on. I wish they would have shown more of that stuff.
Yeah, they don't show Nick Saban in the room, in the office, talking to me about how well structured and well organized this program is. And they don't even show that. They'll show me yelling at everybody and cussing out kids in Walmart. They won't show Nick Saban tell my boss that this is the most well-ran machine he's ever seen at that level, and how the kids shake people's hands and look them in the eye and their pants are pulled up and they're not saying stupid shit. And nobody wants to talk about the highest GPA, the most graduates, the highest retention rate in JUCO history in a 4-year span. They won't mention any of that, though. So it's just perception's reality, man. That's just unfortunate, the life we live now, especially with cell phones and social media. And whoever says something, people think that's, it's in cement. It was not.
Right.
You actually don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So,
yeah,
it is crazy. It's crazy.
Hey, so I read your book, and you say this in the show as well. You talk about how you've never inherited a winning program, and you've always gone to schools with like inner city kids and underprivileged kids. What is it about those schools and that kids that draws you? That is that just you growing up in Compton and your background?
Yeah, man, I'm as JUCO gets. I played it. I give, I pay homage to the level. People don't realize, at one point there was 28% of the NFL made up by junior college players. Look at Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Chad Johnson, Steve Smith. The list goes on and on and on. LeGarrette Blount of the world, all the guys that have played junior college, that even John Madden, the original John Madden who made the game Madden, you know what I mean? Like, he's a JUCO guy. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, there's history in junior college that people don't realize and they don't know. Jackie Robinson. There is legendary folks that played in JUCO, and people don't do research. They don't understand it. John Madden coached JUCO. Warren Moon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What people don't get, though, they don't do any research. They automatically think JUCO is just a bunch of idiots and thugs and all this shit. You heard the other coach say those words. And it's like, you're ignorant, and ignorance is life-threatening. JUCO is three types of people you get. You get the kid that flunked out of the Division I, who didn't make it academically, or smoked weed, or did some stupid shit that we all do when we're young. You get the non-qualifier out of high school, which is a standardized test. It used to be the ACT and the SAT that some people could pass, some people couldn't. And you get those guys. And then you get the guy that went to a 4-year school and just wants to play. And he said, well, if I'm not going to play, I'm going to go back to JUCO and play, and then get re-recruited. Those are the three types of guys you get. Having said that, like, nowadays there's a portal in place, and JUCO is suffering tremendously because they're going to implode eventually due to lack of resources. Because if you don't get those players and you don't get that FTE, which is full-time enrollment, JUCOs can't sustain. So you're going to fall to the wayside. And high schools are also suffering big from it, because we just don't have the resources. And the portal now is killing football, all levels. It's a trickle-down effect, and it's killing football because there's 7,000 kids sitting in a portal waiting to go somewhere. But people don't realize there's only 133 Division I playing schools.
Right.
So if every school took, just say, 2 kids, what are you taking? 260 kids out of 7,000? People don't realize there's not enough schools. There's not enough places. So hopefully the Division II schools, the NAIA's Division III schools, and all those schools are taking kids. But JUCO used to be the portal, and now it's not. And that's going to be a problem. In high school now, have kids that aren't getting recruited because schools rather have the portal kid. And the game's just changed a lot, man. And it's just it's unfortunate to see what it's turning into.
Right.
Another reason probably why I won't coach.
In Last Chance U, we always saw you with a cigar in your hand or whiskey. I'm a big cigar guy, so I was just curious, what's your go-to smoke these days? What have you been smoking lately? Do you have a everyday cigars, go-to? What is your go-to?
Yeah, I'm smoking one right now, man, in my lounge next door. A Brick House Maduro is my go-to everyday smoke. So I got hundreds of those I smoke every day. Very good stick, very strong. But I'm a mighty Maduro Brick House guy during the day. But I'll smoke a lot of different stuff, man. A lot of different things. Good, but they're good nowadays. I don't smoke shit cigars like I used to probably when I was young, when I couldn't afford a good one. But now I got so many cigar companies and cigar people that send me shit. I got so many cigars now in my lounge and a humidor that, I don't ever go short on cigars. So I'll just smoke as I drive. I'll smoke one. If I'm at the house, I'll smoke one.
So what are we talking a day? Because listen, I'm not going to hold it against you. I go to cigar lounge. I used to be like 2 to 3 a day, but I know guys that are old retired colonels that smoke about 12. So I don't know what, in that ballpark. So
yeah, I'm 10 to 12 a day.
10 to 12. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're that's the elite cigar level smoker right there. I'm surprised I haven't run it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, there's what I say, man. If not me, who? Why not?
That's right.
Shit, who else is gonna? Somebody else will. If I don't, fuck it. I might as well smoke all of them. I'll smoke them all.
Yeah. I'm surprised they never run out to you out, and there's a big show out in Vegas every summer. The big national show.
I didn't go to that. I was there while it was up though, and I got a lot of people recognized me. I was at the Aria. A lot of people that were staying there that were over at the circus or wherever it was.
Yeah, Venetian.
World Resort. This year was at the Resorts World. I didn't go. I don't go to that shit, man. I don't go to none of that shit. I don't go to any of that shit. I just chill.
You get enough free cigars as it is. Everybody wants to give them to you. Why would you go? That's cool.
Yeah, I was just curious. I got my own slapstick cigar, so I don't need none of this shit.
Hey, Coach, just quick question about, we talk a lot of NFL on this show. If in terms of the upcoming NFL draft, I know you were a quarterback and you're kind of a molding quarterbacks. We saw obviously with Malik Henry on the show. Who would you, if you were an NFL GM right now and you had the first pick and you needed a quarterback, who would you take in this draft right now?
None of them. Trade for somebody that's in the league right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Don't like Caleb. I think he's another Kyler Murray. I like the older kid that's going to be able to at least give me 2 or 3 good quality years on a ready-made roster, like a Sam Hartman. Come in for 2 or 3 years, that older kid, mature kid that's going to understand the coverage, the front, understand how to re-ID the mic, understand who's hot and who's not. Student of the game type of guy. I don't need the freak athlete in the NFL anymore. That's not sustainable. Now, unless Lamar can go win one, which I still doubt, because I think he's going to have to throw the ball on time to get through to a Super Bowl victory, which I think he struggles at doing. I don't know if the Justin Fields, who I love, I recruited when he left Georgia before they granted his appeal at Ohio State. There's guys out there that I love, and I would love to coach in college, but in the NFL, it's totally different. It is a different ball game. People do things you have never seen in college. They fire zone drop you. They spy you. They boundary blitz you and drop the defensive end, and you throw the ball right to a DN, and you didn't know because he dropped into coverage, and you didn't see it on film, and they've seen you on film, and now you have a book out on you, and now we broke you down over 2 years, and I call Jalen Hurts going to struggle this year. This is really his 3rd year with a book on him, and it's hard to be great after 3 years unless you really, truly are that guy. Jalen proved me right again. He struggled late, and these are the things you're seeing now, because in college, I believe that the coaches are failing the quarterback. We are failing the kids at an all-time high. We're not teaching them fronts. We're not teaching them protections. We're not teaching them sight adjustments. We're teaching them to go fast, show a card, run a play. We're not verbalizing any verbiage in there. We don't understand how to get through to a huddle call in the NFL, and that's why you see the struggle of the quarterback. This is the worst I've ever seen it. The worst I've ever seen quarterback play. And everyone that's a fantasy draft football fanboy is going to see, well, Mahomes is the best ever. No, he's not. He's one of the most overrated ever, because you think he's good because he got you 50 fucking draft points. And that's what they know and what they think. They don't watch film like me. They don't understand what football quarterback play really is. So they see you get 55 fantasy points for my team, and automatically he's the GOAT. No, he's not. He threw 6 bubble screens that went 80, and you think he threw for fucking 400 yards. And they don't know this thing. They don't know this stuff. And so what you end up getting is a bunch of fantasy fanboys who think they know football now, and that's what's crippling the game. The quarterback play is atrocious, but we are the most athletically gifted quarterback we've ever seen. Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, they're freaks of nature, no question about it, but they aren't great quarterbacks. And remember, you can be a great athlete and play quarterback, but you can't be a great quarterback and just be an athlete. There's a difference. And you got to be – there's great athletic quarterbacks, no question, but there's a lot of athletes that are playing quarterback. And we need the quarterback just to be athletic. And there's a huge difference in those things. And I don't think people understand it.
Who would you say is the best quarterback in the league right now then?
Aaron's hurt, so it was him.
Right.
Matthew Stafford by far is the best ball spinner in the NFL. Him and Aaron Rodgers are by far the best ball spinners, the most accurate, the last dying. They're the dying breed. There's not a lot left. Matthew Stafford, I mean, that game was atrociously refereed the other day. I picked the Rams to win. I thought they should have won. I thought they dominated the game in Detroit, and I think they got screwed on a few PI plays down the stretch there to win the game. But Stafford threw for almost 400 yards. He was 75% completion back home in Detroit. The things he did in Detroit on a horrible roster. You see how great he was when he left there and wins a Super Bowl immediately in his first year in LA. He's the best in the league, in my opinion, for an NFL quarterback. Like, he's not going to run around in the backfield. Like, the people get enamored by these guys running in circles in the backfield like Kyler Murray, and then he fucking has the ball for 29 seconds and runs around and then beats you to the pylon and scores, and everyone's like, oh, my God, he's the best ever. No, Kyler Murray's a fucking mental midget, and he's horrific, and he's a freak. But he's not a great quarterback. And there's a huge difference, and people just don't like the truth. They think I'm a hater. No, I'm just telling you the truth, and a lot of you fantasy fanboys can't handle that shit.
Yeah, I love that, JB, because I call Jalen Hurts one-read Jalen, because if he can't read, he can read one thing and then he can take off. That's it. And I'm a big Matthew Stafford guy. Totally agree. There was a big PI on Puka on the last 3rd and 14. They didn't call. That should have been a first down right there. Would have ended the game.
And a late hit on Stafford himself. The Higbee hit was a defenseless hit on his kneecap that blew his knee out for the year. He's done for probably the beginning of next year. No call on that. And the bylaw that states defenseless player hit low is a penalty. And there was none. And I'm like, wait up. I think there's an agenda out there, man. I wouldn't be shocked if Mahomes won another. I'm curious because he's never played a road playoff game. I don't think he's going to win. But if they let him win because of the Swifties and Kelce and all that shit, then you'll probably see some agenda with Mahomes playing. I don't know what they're going to do, but Mahomes versus Goff in Detroit is maybe the biggest moneymaker for the NFL. I don't know, but it sure was very, very interesting to see some of the calls, not only in Kansas City, but in Detroit the other night. And it's just getting worse and worse. I just want consistency. They're humans. I get it. Humans fuck up. We fuck up. But the consistency of the rules. Diggs, I don't know if you saw Diggs for Buffalo drinking the water out of the Pittsburgh Steelers sideline. That is in the bylaws, we talked about it on my show, in the bylaws, that is a taunting foul. It is a 15-yard penalty, and there was not one thing called on the Bills. Like, is one penalty for 9 yards against the Bills in that game. One penalty. I find that hard to believe, especially blatant ones like that. So, I don't know. The league is very, very interested.
So who do you think, I was going to ask you, I know you're talking about the script there and the league definitely having an agenda. Who do you think, if you had to pick a Super Bowl matchup and a winner at this point, who do you like?
Man, I said that the other day. I don't know if anybody can bet. I wouldn't bet any. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to pick the two teams that are going to match up in the Super Bowl. Everyone wants to say Ravens, Niners, rematch, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I got a funny feeling about Jordan Love and the Packers this week with Purdy having 2 weeks off, and I don't think he's that great anyway. I think he's surrounded by a great roster. I wouldn't be surprised if Purdy struggles after 2 weeks off, and the Niners' last taste was a loss to the Rams in a meaningless last game of the season. I get it, but those things matter to me as a coach. I wouldn't be super confident in the Niners going in and just dominating the Packers like everybody thinks. I think Jordan Love is playing with house money. I think the Packers are playing with house money. I think those receiving core that the Packers have on the youngest roster in the NFL is a dynamic one. I think Jordan Love has some Aaron Rodgers in him. I said it at the beginning of this year. Jordan Love's playing as good as any quarterback in the league. I think he's got 21 touchdowns and 1 pick over the last 7 games. I don't know if there's anyone playing as good as him. Stafford, Josh Allen is just a freak of nature who runs around back there and does things that you just can't coach. And then you got Goff, who's a ball spinner, big time arm. I just don't know if he can win the big one. I don't know if he has the it factor. And that goes for Lamar as well. So I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting. Mahomes has the experience and has won 2, been to 3. And then you got CJ Stroud, who I don't, right here, a SoCal kid I've known since he was a little kid. I don't think he cares who they play, and I don't think he understands the how big the game is. He is just a backyard baller who doesn't really give a shit. And I don't know if he don't go out and light up the Ravens either. Like, that's just this is a very, very watered down profession at the moment. I believe football is watered down as big as we've ever seen, not only college, but pro. And I think anyone can win, man. I wouldn't be shocked if you see the fucking Lions playing the Texans in some crazy ass matchup. So who knows, man? I don't know. But if I guess the betting people out there are going to probably take Frisco, but Ravens. But man, do you go against Andy Reid? Do you go against Josh Allen? It's just going to be very interesting. And I hope we just see some good games, because last week's wild card first round, besides the Rams and Lions game, was the worst wild card first round I've ever seen in 47 years.
It was horrible.
It was bad. And football has been bad all year. Name me one Thursday night Amazon game that was really good.
Yeah. I think there was one. I think the Cowboys Seahawks was the only decent game we saw on Thursday night all year.
Maybe that one. Yeah. And then you name me a real good Monday night game. There's horrible games all year long. The fucking ones that were at 6 in the morning in London and shit. I mean, come on. It is bad. Yeah. It's bad right now. I don't know what they need to do. They need to do something, because the rules, the inability to hit the quarterback, the guessing by defensive tacklers. Tackling is at an all-time low, yet injuries at an all-time high. How does that make sense? How does it even make sense? How is it even possible? Well, it is. It's happening. And I don't know how you fix it, but Roger Goodell has an issue on his hands, and it's getting worse and worse. It's not getting better.
Right. Hey, real quick, back to the show. Just one quick question here. Do you keep in touch with a lot of the guys from Last Chance U that you coached at Independence?
Yep. They've all been on my show. The main guys, even guys that you didn't know about, even guys you didn't know on the show, they've been on my show. Got off the phone with Malik Henry 5 minutes before I jumped on here. There's a big news coming out with him. I can't say it, but I helped get the ball rolling for him on a big thing for his career. And then one of the other players that went to Cal Berkeley, great player alongside with Jermaine Johnson, Coy Dang. He's getting into the coaching world. He just retired as a player. He was just with the Steelers and the Falcons the last 2 years. He's going to get into coaching, so I'm helping him do that. And then the rest of the guys, Calvin Jackson, who caught 3 preseason touchdowns for the Jets 2 years ago, was with the Dolphins last year. He's probably going to CFL or the new UFL. He's been on the show several times. So Emmett Gooden, all the big time name guys, Rakeem Boyd, Malik, they've all been on my show. And we talk all the time. And again, but I'm the crazy asshole nobody likes.
Well, you got 2 fans right here, JB. We appreciate you coming on here and talking with us. You got anything else, Turner?
Nope. Get back into the lounge and get a cigar lit up, because I know it's been 30 minutes. It's a long time for you, so get back in there.
No problem, man. It's all good. I got a bunch of guys working on my backyard and trying to always do something, man. I always do. So I get bored, man. I want to build some shit somewhere, do something. You know what I mean? So I built a cigar lounge, a movie theater. I built a bunch of different shit at the house, so I don't have to leave the house ever. I don't like people. So I don't want to go to the cigar lounge. I just built my own and said, fuck it.
Yeah. There you go.
Coach, last thing, do you have anything? I know obviously you've got your podcast going. Is that your main focus right now? I know I've read Love Me Now, Hate Me Now, Love Me Later. Sorry. Yeah.
So look, the podcast, we don't even call it's a show nowadays. It's a 3-hour
it's live, right? It's live at like a couple hours a day.
Yeah, we do 3 hours a day, man, and it's a full-on show. I mean, it's like, I was on McAfee for a whole year. I still talk to all those guys. That the show we do is similar in fashion, just a little more raw and uncut, obviously. But I have, Eric Weddle on every Monday, Super Bowl champ. Trent Richardson, Alabama, great legendary running back, Colts and Raiders. every Thursday. Tomorrow, T-Rich, we call it T-Rich Thursday. Tank Johnson, longtime 12-year NFL vet, is on Tuesdays. We got an NFL doctor, Dr. Jesse Morse, is on Tuesdays. We call the show Doc Talk Tuesday. Steve Kim and Matt McChesney are regulars who give us great stuff. Matt's a former NFL D lineman, played at Colorado, so he's right there in Boulder with the whole Deion Sanders and all that stuff that goes on there. And then Steve Kim, they call the Korean Cosell, man. He's one of the best boxing analysts there is. He used to be on ESPN. Now he does his own thing. And then I'm still on Jason Whitlock's show here and there and other things like that. So we get great guests on the show. Jeff Nadeau's a former Barstool betting pro who's on our shows on Fridays and breaks down games and gives us our unders and overs and stuff. So, it's a show that's growing, one of the fastest growing sports shows on YouTube. And we 3 hours every morning, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So we're up at early in the morning and we go live. And it's a real entertaining show. And I think it's the realest show on planet Earth, we like to call it. And it's growing. And hopefully we break that algorithm code that you guys know that's so hard to do unless you're one of these, whatever they call these guys nowadays, who knows? Probably some fucking Illuminati or something that's the ones that getting broken. But all the little guys like us, man, will continue to just have to grind, man. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. When you make it at the end of the day, doing something they said you could not do is the greatest feat in the world.
Absolutely. If you ever need any sports betting picks, we're your guys right here. College basketball locks right here, baby. So,
all right.
But yeah.
We have to get you on the show, man. We have to get you on the show. I don't do any shows no more, man. My guys don't let me do many things besides like mainstream media or paid appearances because I get so many fucking requests. It's hard, man.
Oh, so, I imagine, man. That's why. Thank you so much for coming on.
But I'm just saying, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to get a lot of these going. I would love to go on people's shows. It's just hard, man. It's like fucking million things. Plus, I got a million things going in between that. We got about 20 ad sponsors and shit like that. So trying to pay people to help us run the show behind the scenes and do shit like that. It's tough, man. So kudos. I know how hard it is. It ain't easy. Let me tell you.
Yeah. We're learning that right now, but yeah, for sure. Hey, you ever want us on to give some picks or anything, hit us up. And like we said, we can't appreciate it enough. I mean, I don't know somebody who would respond like that. You say, real recognizes real, right? Like you're the man for coming on our show, man. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Big fan.
Anytime. Where you guys at?
We're in San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, we're in San Antonio, Texas. Grew up here. Gotcha. I'm actually I coached high school basketball for a while, 7 years, and I just got out of coaching. So we kind of started this podcast. We've been buddies growing up and into football and basketball for a long time. So, yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah. I coached Westbrook's brother. His brother played wideout for me.
No way.
Yeah, that's a Russell jersey, right?
My golden retriever's name is Westbrook. I'm a massive Westbrook fan.
Big Westbrook.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, do you still got Stogie?
Huh?
Do you still have Stogie?
No, I had to put Stogie down, man.
I'm sorry, man.
But his son is Ash. His son is Ash, who's sleeping at my feet right now. His son is Ash. Still got Callie. Still got a few other ones. But yeah, you see that Stogie right there. That's his urn, man. So.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah. Unfortunate, fucked up deal, man. That was like my dog.
Yeah.
So yeah. Put it this way, my dad died in my arms in 2005, and I had to put him down. It was worse putting him down.
Yeah, so, dogs it happens like that. For some reason, like people, I'm the same way. Dogs are upsetting to lose, man.
Yeah. I'd kill a human in a fucking heartbeat.
I'll
tell you right now.
No doubt.
Most loyal creature in the world. Here's a story, Westbrook. So here's the street. I grew up in Compton, obviously. So here on one street, you got James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, his dad. There's a whole situation there. Then he moved out to Riverside and went to Riverside King High School. And then you had a guy named Aaron Afalo, played in the league a long time. You had what's my guy's name that plays for the Bulls now?
DeRozan?
Who?
DeRozan?
DeMar
DeRozan. All on the same street in Compton, bro.
Wow. That's wild, man.
I think there's 3-4 NBA MVPs in there. You got the all-time triple-double leader all time. There's a lot of more guys too that grew up there in that area. And then Russell, obviously they went to Gardena. They went to Lusinger High School in Gardena, which is a border city. But his brother was a good wide receiver. Russell's brother was.
Oh, that's cool. I had no idea, man. That's awesome.
By the way, on the same block when my dad was young, you had the commissioner of the NFL, who started the NFL and made it what it is today, in my opinion, Pete Rozelle. And then Duke Snider is a great Dodger, all-time great Dodger. Kevin Costner, Marilyn Monroe. People don't know Compton is a special place. A lot of people don't realize, man. I wrote a lot of that in my book.
I know. I remember. It's early in it. You were talking about all the guys who went to Compton College, too. Same type of people. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Richard Sherman. I raised Richard Sherman and his brother. All grew up right there. Went to Compton Dominguez High School, who played for my good friend who's now the head coach at Independence. And Keith Donnerson. Wow. So, full circle. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
No doubt.
All right, JB. Yeah, all right, JB. Like I said, I can't appreciate it enough, man. And if you ever need anything from us, hit us up. We'd love to come on the show. You're way more famous than us, but thank you for coming on. And we're big fans. Always will be, man. You keep it real.
Appreciate you.
Doubt.
Thank you.
You guys have me.
Yeah, thanks, JB.
All right, brother.
All right, that was a fun segment with JB. Honored to have him on.
Down to earth, good dude.
Good dude, man.
It was my idea to get him on.
I will give Big Dog credit. It was his idea, but JB did do the interview with us, and he liked us. I don't know if you were on. Y'all might have gotten into it because you're two alpha personalities, but
you are. Big Dog is definitely an alpha.
Yeah, he's
born a fucking alpha.
But
only an alpha could pull off this jacket too.
JB did.
This is why I'm wearing the jacket real quick before we talk about JB. Let's talk about me.
Yes.
I like JB better than you.
Number one is I'm wearing the jacket because I'm boarding a private plane with my buddy Glenn, who manages some big country artists, and we're going to go skiing. Okay?
Oh, really?
Down in La Mexico. Okay?
You're not going skiing.
Yeah, we're going skiing, snow skiing, in a private jet. Okay? Because I know people with jets, not little Piper fucking planes. Okay, let's go.
Real quick.
Cubs, no Pipers, jets.
This is my ski attire to get off the plane on the runway, walk about 100 feet,
and
go up for the ski slope and start hitting the skis.
Ski in, ski out.
Let's
from
go.
The runway.
That's fucking right. Let's go.
Didn't you say that you were invited to play at Augusta too?
Yep, sure was.
That's not true.
And your dad told us. He told the guy, "Yeah, I might go out there and play 5 or 6 holes."
I said I play 2 holes.
He'll skip around to the iconic holes.
He said we'll play 1 hole for $5,000 to our favorite charity, and I said, "Fuck the charities. I'll take the cash." Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Oh man.
America.
Yeah.
That's America. Don King.
That's right.
The white Don King.
Only in America.
Son of a bitch. Turner, the San Francisco line just moved to damn 9. I could have gotten.
All right, let's go. Let's do the picks.
All right. Let's talk some NFL playoffs, and we'll start. We'll go in a chronological order here.
Right.
So, first game Saturday, 3:30 Central Standard Time kickoff, where the number 4 seed Houston Texans travel to the number 1 overall seed Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, we all know the struggles in the playoffs. 1-3, has just 1 win as a starter in the playoffs. Obviously, didn't play last year, was injured as they had a first-round exit. They had the bye. Now they take on the Texans. Texans are coming off a big, it wasn't like they were a huge underdog, but it was an upset. I think most people were picking the Browns, and if Joe Flacco didn't go full Joe Flacco, who knows what would have happened in that game. But
Houston came out on the attack. Keep going.
Yeah, but it was only a 24.
My God.
Oh, and let me finish. It was a 24-14 game when Flacco had a man in the end zone. The pressure got to him. That's when the pick 6 happens. He throws a touchdown there. It's a 3-point game. So, obviously they killed him 45-14. But let's look at this game between the Ravens and the Texans. The Ravens are a 9-point favorite currently. They've come down a little bit from the opening of 9.5. Total on the game, 43.5. But we're going to talk more about the matchup. What is the main, Turner or Uncle T, what is the main matchup that we need to look at in this game?
I think it's, I guess you just got to say that Baltimore defense for C.J. Stroud. I mean, you think Lamar Jackson's going to get his. He always does. But I think it'll be interesting to see how C.J. plays that game on the road. It's going to be obviously a very tough environment. I bet the weather's probably not going to be great.
28 degrees right now.
But like Coach JB said when we were talking to him, he goes, C.J. Stroud's just that kind of guy that he's just a football player. He's like doesn't look too far into it, doesn't really feel the pressure. He's just going to go out there and sling the ball around. I expect, I don't know if the time off for the Ravens is going to be good. JB touched on it with Brock Purdy talking about him, resting. So you have Lamar Jackson who's going to be, not throwing a football for 2 weeks, no in game anyway. So I think it's going to be interesting. Texans coming in with a lot of juice. I'm going to say the Ravens by a field goal. I think tight game in Baltimore. I don't know. And I think Lamar Jackson's got a good turnover in him, like, running back to try to make a play and just drops the ball. And, classic Lamar. Yeah, classic Lamar will probably, make a play with his legs to score a touchdown than he shouldn't. But I think there's going to be, at least a big turnover from him. So expect a close game. Ravens win a close game.
Let me let the younger Turks, you go ahead and give your take on this because let Big Dog pick the game. Go ahead, you take your
Look, I don't want to go against my boy JB here because I do agree with him that C.J. Stroud's played awesome, but when you look at the splits between his home and road, he's just a different player on
Schmitz, right?
Split Schmitz. On the road,
Schmatz.
On the road, he's thrown 11 less touchdowns, and his completion percentage drops 3.5 points. His passer rating drops 17 points. His QBR drops 9 points. He just isn't the same dude on the road. That's typical of a rookie quarterback. This isn't like surprising by any means. Look, it was a really good, matchup in the first round. Obviously, the Browns' defense is really good, so that part was impressive. But look, that game, and we've talked about this, it's ridiculous that game was played in Houston. I don't understand the NFL.
Oh, they're playing in Houston?
No, I'm saying the game against Cleveland was played in Houston. It's backwards that the Browns have a better record all year, and then
they're
they play
not
that game.
Changing that.
I think they will.
No.
Regardless, my point is, it was an ideal situation, right? He's playing at home in a dome. Now he's going into, below, it's below 30. That's the projection. It's never, it's always relatively windy there, and he's playing against, I think the Ravens aren't as good as the Browns defensively, but I think they're less likely to give up, explosive plays. They're not going to let Nico Collins get loose for 50 yards the last 2 times he's played against the Colts and the Browns. So to me, the one thing I'll say, I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl basically because I don't like anybody in the AFC. I don't think anybody in the AFC is very good, but wouldn't shock me if the Texans won this game. I'll say Ravens by 7, but I think Lamar JB touched on this too. Lamar has to be able to throw the ball on time in the playoffs. Quarterbacks have to be able to do that to win games in the playoffs. He doesn't do that in big moments, and he never has. I want to see him do it before I'm a believer. I do think it's going to be 49ers versus the Ravens in the Super Bowl, but I don't think Lamar has a great showing here. I think it's tighter than people think. They win by 7.
Both of y'all need to read the first 50 years of football book, okay? But
Is there an actual book?
Yes. I read it when I was 6 years old. All right, real
the odds
quick.
that you've ever finished a book are
first of all.
I just finished
plus
a book.
500.
It was about Einstein. I just finished it.
What was it called?
A geometric space.
Oh yeah,
all right?
fucking right.
Shut up.
I would fucking bet my left nut that you've never read a book called Geometric Space. That's fucking bullshit.
How did you even have that in your mind?
Like Johnny Carson.
He probably saw it online on an ad or something.
Yeah.
No, I just thought
Geometric.
No, that's the name. That's the name of the book.
Yeah.
But real quick. This is the deal.
I'm looking this shit up.
Lamar, I don't think he's going to have any issues. And I do think that Stroud's used to playing in the cold. That ain't going to be that big of a deal. Ohio State, come on. But the point of the matter is,
please.
No, it's not going to be that big of a deal. He practices in that in that weather. He will throw the ball okay. I think he'll do it later than he will in the first half. I think he's going to come on a little stronger in the second half. I think they'll be down. Bottom line is, no one's going into Baltimore, especially a rookie, against that defense in Harbaugh and winning. End of sentence. No one's going in there.
Score prediction?
Regardless of Lamar, and he throws a pick, or he'll probably throw a pick. When the Houston defense is good, he'll throw a pick. But honestly, and I do think that CJ next year is going to have a sophomore jinx. I think this whole thing, they're going to start figuring it out and getting it. I'll tell you one thing, though. The pass that he made in the Browns game, the very first series, was unreal. But people forget, real quick, people also forget Dak Prescott, rookie year, no pressure. He has a running back and an offensive line. He looked like a complete stud his first year. 13-3, give me a break. So when people all talk about these new quarterbacks coming on, I mean, come on, I'm not a Dak fan, but the first year he was sick. He was unreal. He couldn't miss a damn pass.
You did have Dak in your top five quarterbacks.
But the point, and he sucks. He cost them the game. It's not McCarthy's not going anywhere. I already said that. He's not going anywhere.
Yes, he is. It's just not. It's going to take a week.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he is.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. You don't get rid. You don't cut. You don't cut.
Wrong.
No, wrong. You don't cut a player with 1 year. I mean, a coach with 1 year left on the contract. You don't need Belichick. He's an offensive moron. But the bottom line is that they're not going to beat Baltimore.
All right.
I mean, they're not going to beat Houston's not going to beat Baltimore.
What's the next?
And I need my Lamar jersey for next week. Let's go next week.
Oh yeah,
the Lamar one that I bought you is up there.
Did we do one pick just then or two?
It was one pick.
We just did one
Okay,
game.
let's roll.
We got to get it moving.
Get
Big
jet.
Dog's got to get.
Let's go.
He's got to get over to Texas Road. He's got to get over to Texas Roadhouse for early bird special.
No, I got to get to the fucking airport. Let's go.
You're not going in the air.
Go roll.
He was in there watching Get First Take in there when we went.
No, I was not. I was watching something else, and I got software being. Let's go. Hurry up.
Packers in the second game
Making
traveling
hits
to the
over
49ers. We got both the 1 seeds playing on Saturday. So through 7:15 kickoff Central Standard Time on Fox. The Packers are a 9-point dog at San Francisco. Obviously, last week they were a 7-point dog, 7.5-point dog, went into Dallas, absolutely destroyed them. They're up 27-0 at one point. We've talked about this. We're not going to spend time talking about what happened. We know what happened. Dallas shit all over themselves, and the Packers absolutely dominate them. I think, more it had to do with a good game plan, Aaron Jones running up the middle. Jordan Love played good, but I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think it was more just really bad coaching by Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott playing horrific.
No,
however,
coaching by Dak did.
The 49ers
McCarthy doesn't call the defenses, having no linebacker. You had to go get a linebacker this year. They don't even have a linebacker. Our 57 gets hurt. We don't bring in a linebacker. Keep going.
The 49ers are a different animal, and they're not the Cowboys. They're not going to throw up all over themselves at home. Obviously, I guess Turner or Uncle T, I'll ask you a question. Do you think that the time off for San Francisco is actually going to play a role? JB said he thought it would for Purdy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree, but I do. I think the 49ers actually will kill them. Do you think it's going to play a factor?
I obviously agree with you that the 49ers are a far superior team. I do think it will play somewhat of a factor. I mean, but both ways. I think it's going to be good for most of the veterans on the Niners getting that rest, getting healthy. Purdy's just your big question mark. If it affects him, then it's not going to be great. I personally see this game. I don't think Green Bay is fantastic, but they are rolling right now, and there is something to say about momentum in the league. I'm going to say the Niners win this thing by 4 points, and
wow.
I just don't see it being a blowout. I don't know why. I don't think the Packers are very good. It's just how you're playing right now league, and the Packers, although I don't think the Cowboys are ready to play, they did come in there and beat the shit out of them. So I have to take that into consideration. I just think, and I do think it's 50-50, like, that JB said that Purdy could just come out and the rhythm could be really bad. But, even if Green Bay is up, the Niners are up 10 to 13 points. They're basically going to give Green Bay a touchdown in the game. I think it's going to be San Fran by 4 in a relatively tight game.
I will say, to JB's point, Cleveland and Los Angeles, the Rams, both sat their guys in Week 18. Detroit and Houston both had to play. Well, Detroit chose to play. Houston had to. The two teams whose teams played, like their starters played, won the games. Now, that said, I think we all, except for my dad, JB said the same thing. The Rams should have won the game. They were the better team. Stafford outplayed Goff. He was great. But here's my thing. I just think that everybody's high on the Packers now because they beat the Cowboys. I really do think it had to do with Mike McCarthy and Dak. Brock Purdy in that offense with him, we've only seen him ever struggle one time, right? And it was against Baltimore on Christmas Eve or Christmas, right? Besides that, he really has never done that. I don't think there's a path, unless Brock Purdy just does that, where the Packers win this game. Like, I think he's got to turn the ball over 3 times for them to lose. In San Francisco, I know a week off might not be the best thing at this point. To me, this is a blowout. I think the 49ers are going to win this by 14. I don't think it's going to be remotely close. And I think the coaching advantage last week was Matt LaFleur was better than Mike McCarthy, significantly.
Better than Dan Quinn.
But
Mike McCarthy didn't shit the bed. Dak did. The first passes were nervous throws.
Let me finish. The difference is there is the opposite in this game. Okay, Kyle Shanahan has a distinct advantage over Matt LaFleur. I like the 49ers to win this easy. Stop looking at yourself in the mirror.
I'm looking at my phone to see what time I'm leaving.
No, you're not. I see yourself looking at yourself.
God damn, he looks good, folks. I mean, can we talk about this jacket?
Number one.
For fuck's sake.
Dallas had no linebacker play. When you break down the film, they broke it down all week. It was pathetic.
Your Cowboys are out.
No, I know.
Yeah, they were past Dallas.
No, they were pathetic defensively, which leads me to Frisco. They were so pathetic defensively, and how off they played to the receivers, and how Gilmore was burned so many on routes, that San Francisco is going to kill them. And this is why. LaFleur can't coach against Shanahan, number one. That ain't happening. Number two, it isn't going to be a Brock Purdy thing. Brock Purdy, I don't think is going to throw in a pick because the Packers defense, for some reason, lit it up for Dallas, but is not very good in general. So the bottom line is you're going into Frisco. Packers are going to get their ass kicked. The only way I'll say it even remains close is if Purdy happened to throw a pick, number one, or two. They're only behind by 7 to 10 points going into the fourth quarter. Then I would give Green Bay a little bit of the edge, actually. And I will say, if Purdy does get sacked a few times, that's when that guy turns into a skeleton. He's an idiot when he gets sacked. But I don't think that's going to happen. The deal is McCaffrey will light them up all over this game. He will light them up. So I'll say, for instance, San Francisco by 17 points.
Oh,
wow. I mean, I
what
agree.
A statement from Big Dog.
I think it's going to be closer to that than a close game, but who knows? I mean, this has been a weird playoffs. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's move on to Sunday, and the first game Sunday's at 2 o'clock Central Time. Kickoff set on NBC, where the Buccaneers are traveling to the Detroit Lions. The Bucs coming off a dominating performance, really, is the only way you can put it. Now, how much of that was the Buccaneers playing well and how much of that was the Eagles quitting on the season? I think it's more of the latter, but the Buccaneers still come in with a one more playoff win than the Dallas Cowboys this year. Lions, on the other hand, get their first playoff win since January 5th, 1992, when they beat none other than the Dallas Cowboys. And so the Lions in that game, you know, we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think most people who watched that game would agree the Rams probably should have won the game. The Rams looked like the better team, at least in the second half. It was kind of a shootout in the first half, slowed down in the second half. Now we have the Lions where, okay, they've gotten over the hump of winning this playoff game. What's the mindset here? Like, is this just, are they going to come in here and be like, all right, we're playing with house money, we got the monkey off our back, or is it just this letdown of we got this big emotional win over the Rams? Stafford came back, everybody was picking the Rams to win that game, and yet we won it. Now it's a letdown, we're playing Baker Mayfield. Which one is more likely to happen here?
I don't think there's going to be any letdown in Detroit because Dan Campbell will have the guys ready to go. There's zero doubt about that. Huge playoff game. I think the Lions are going to win this by, I'm going to say 10, but I'm going to say 7. I think it'll be a fairly comfortable win against the Bucs. The place will be rocking. Rams are better than the Bucs. I mean, I think the Rams at this point in the season are way better than the Bucs. I don't have much worry for Detroit in this game. I think the place will be rocking. They'll be ready to go. And, you know, the Lions will tackle better than that Eagles team that had just given up on the season last week. So I think a relatively easy win for Detroit.
They're going to make Goff throw the ball here. They're going to stop the run. Tampa Bay's defense is coming on. They're going to stop the run. Baker, never believed in Baker, never think he's going to go anywhere. He's done good this year.
He's got the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott.
I totally agree. But I'm never a fan of that guy's arm. I just hate how he throws down. He throws the ball downward. I'm just not a fan. I was in college. He was damn good. I don't know why I don't like him in the pros. I don't like short quarterbacks. I like tall quarterbacks that see the field. I don't like short, stubby quarterbacks. I can't stand them. Drew Brees the exception. A couple of others, but let's just say in general.
That's good.
Now, here we go. Detroit, they're going to put it in Goff's hands. They're going to win by 10 points. No, by 7 points. I agree. By 7 points, Baker will throw, if not 1, 2 picks. I'm going to think 2 picks.
2 picks. Okay.
All right.
You never want your dad to copy your exact pick. It's like the Charles Barkley pick at dad.
But
when he changed it to 7, I was like, oh no.
Hey, but real quick, get to the other game because I got to get my take.
Okay, we got to get you on the jet. Yeah, we got to get him on the jet.
You're not going to it.
Are you
jet.
fucking
Dylan,
kidding me? Did you see the jet?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fucking.
Let's go. Next one.
No,
looks like a sheep.
I didn't get my take
on
this. Dummy.
Shit.
Okay.
All right.
To me, you look at it. Jared Goff in the last game, 72 yards passing in the second half. I mean, he absolutely shut down because when Jared, this is my fear for the Lions this weekend. I think there's a decent chance they tend to do this. They tend to get off to a hot start, and then they tend to have like really good. Ben Johnson, the OC, has a great script early that makes Goff look good, and then when it comes down to it, and it's like, okay, now Goff has to make a play late. He didn't do it all game until the final play where they got the first down, but there were 2 drives before that where they had to punt back to the Rams and gave the Rams a chance to win the game because Jared Goff could not get a first down. Jared Goff is going to have 2 turnovers in this game, I think, and I actually am going to predict an upset here. I think the Buccaneers go into Detroit, even though I think, I do think, and again, keep bringing up JB, but JB did mention this. I think the NFL does want the Lions in the Super Bowl. I think that's probably the best team for them to have in the Super Bowl. It would be great to have the Lions there. So I do think they got every call against the Rams, every single call. In fact, I think the officials gave them the game at the end of the game. I'd go as far as to say that.
Let's get off the officials.
To me, Jared Goff is going to have a rough game. Baker Mayfield is playing with house money now. There's no pressure on him whatsoever. And that Lions front, as good as they are against the run, I've been saying it for weeks, they're horrific against the pass. Mike Evans had a down game last week. He's going to have a big night against the Detroit Lions. Take Mike Evans over in his prop, whatever it is. Anything over, anything 80 or less, I would take his over.
And I'd love it Baker won. I would love it, but let's go.
All right, let's go to the final game where we have maybe the best game. The Kansas City Chiefs traveling for the first time in the playoffs in the Mahomes era to Buffalo.
My Buffalo Bills.
Turner's Buffalo Bills, and I'll give him credit. He picked the Bills the whole way through to make the playoffs, and it came down to the last week. They got in, and then they got a very fortunate bounce to get the 2 seed and ended up getting to play the Steelers. But again, last week, what did we see? The Bills get up early, and somehow, some way, the Steelers, who are the worst team in the playoffs, if we're being honest, find a way to make that a 1-touchdown game late. It is a 1-score game late. And so, neither team has been overly impressive. Josh Allen did look pretty darn good last week. He's obviously got the interception problems. 18 picks on the season, but he has 29 touchdowns, thrown for over 4,000 yards. Who gets the better of this matchup? The first 2, Volume 1 and Volume 2, both went to Mahomes, but both of those games were in Arrowhead. Who wins this one in Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York?
Bills by 7. Short and sweet. And if you want to play the official game, who they want to win, I know JB is talking about Chiefs, Taylor Swift. Look, you can show Taylor Swift in the booth a few times, but I do think the NFL truly – Buffalo has gotten to this point, or AFC Championship, and almost gotten to the Super Bowl. I think, he probably is right. Taylor Swift bumped this more than the Josh Allen
and the Mahomes.
But I do think, you have Chiefs fans like Ryan McLaughlin. Shout out Ryan.
Oh God,
guys like that.
Ryan, who was never a Chiefs fan and married a girl who is a Chiefs fan.
He'll blame his wife for being a Chiefs fan,
now
which is fine.
He's not a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, whatever. But they're not going to win this game in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is not going to go into fucking Buffalo and take it from those people again. Won't do it.
I don't know, man. This is going to be a tough one. Josh Allen shits the bed all the time. He's just not that good. And when it comes to these games, number one, it's not a very big game to Patrick Mahomes, depending on his record. Look at him. in big games all the time. Josh
Never
Allen,
on
the
the road.
biggest game of his – no, that's fair. Biggest game of his career. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal on the road. It's environmentally, it's the same. In fact, Buffalo probably won't even be as near as cold or dealing with what Kansas City deals with. Yeah, Buffalo Stadium is crazy, piece of shit stadium, and who the hell would want to live in fucking Buffalo?
How dare you talk about
the
Highmark
Buffalo
Stadium?
If you look up real estate in Buffalo,
snow in
hell,
the
you can
stands.
live like a king in Buffalo for $150,000.
We've heard this
Okay,
before.
no one wants to fucking be in Buffalo. That's probably you're dead if you're in Buffalo. I mean, you don't exist. It's like how you move your bad cousin. You move him to Buffalo. But the bottom line is ship your grandma off to Buffalo. You'll never hear from her again. But the bottom
That seems
line
like something you would honestly do.
I would do it.
probably.
Put it on the top of it like national vacation.
Buffalo.
But the bottom line is,
Put him on an Amtrak train out there.
Mahomes is going to be playing really well. This will come down to one simple tight end, Kelce. Kelce shows up. They're going to the soup. They're going to the next. They're going to play. Who will they play? The Ravens.
The Ravens. Or
They'll
the
get their ass
Texans.
kicked there. So the bottom line is both teams are going to get their ass kicked going into the Ravens. So what does it really matter? So I don't think it really matters. In the NFL's case, they're not getting the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, sorry, Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl.
I wish I would.
I heard it here first.
Hey, losing to
I don't agree with
look,
that.
losing.
Well, neither do I, but
and
I've been saying it for
I'm
8
almost
weeks.
done with this. I'm almost done. No one says Mar Levy got the Buffalo Bills to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row. They say, well, he lost 4 times in a row. No one will ever get a team to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row.
No, that's crazy.
That was crazy. So my point is that I want Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. I would love it if they go to the Super Bowl. But the bottom line is they aren't. I want the Bills to win, so I'm going with the Bills. Josh Allen, Trevor, what's his name? Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, fucking baby. That guy needs to get him out of there. And
This
then
is
I want my song coming on when I give my takes about the coaching carousel at the end of the show. A song, and then I'm going to get my ski bag, and then I'm out. Let's go.
You got to get
This
your
is
skis.
about as coin flippy of a game as you could ever get.
No, it's not.
I really don't know. I want to pick the Bills because I don't want to root for the Chiefs. I kind of want to flip this quarter that's in my hand and just pick based on that. In fact, let's see what it would be. If it's heads, I'm going with the Bills. It is heads. I'm going to go with the Bills here.
Boo,
I'm going with the Buffalo
coward.
Bills. You asked me last week on the show if it was these two who I would take, and I did say Buffalo. Look, I don't believe in this Bills team at all. I've said it. Look, they're going to get to play. They got to play the fucking Steelers last week with Mason Rudolph. Now they're playing the worst Chiefs team that we've seen since Mahomes has gotten there at home. You should win this game. If you don't win this game, they should, because nobody will probably give them as much heat as they should get because they looked bad all year and they're lucky to, like, the fact that they're in the 2 seed. No, it's not like they were dominating all year and then this happened. But they 100% should win this game. If they don't beat the Chiefs this year, they're never beating Kansas City. They might as well just blow it up because there is no, get rid of McDermott, and that's the problem here with the Bills. If they don't win a Super Bowl here, this was the year where I thought, okay, they're finally going to get rid of McDermott. They're going to make some changes. Nope. If they win this game especially, ain't nothing changing there for 5 more years. So this is a huge, huge game for the Bills, and I hope they win it. I hope they go to the Super Bowl. I hope you're right, Turner. But to me, it really is a coin flip. I'll take Buffalo by, I literally think it's going to be by 1. I'm going to say the Bills on a last-second field goal by 1. Somehow, some way they win by 1.
Well, they need to get rid of the coach regardless, and they're not going to. You're right. If they win, they're not getting rid of him. He needs to go. You need to bring in an offensive-minded coach to work with Josh Allen. You're ruining this guy's career. You're just ruining the guy's. So, like I said, I do hope they win, but they're not going to.
Okay, let's talk real quick. We've got a ton of vacancies around the NFL in terms of coaching. We know the Raiders' job is open, even though I think Antonio Pierce is a favorite to go there. Atlanta's open. They interviewed Bill Belichick the other day. They interviewed Dan Quinn the other day. The L.A. Chargers met with Jim Harbaugh not too long ago. We've got what other
Seattle.
jobs? Seattle's open.
I think Dan Quinn will. If he ends up anywhere, I think it's going to be in Seattle.
That's his only shot, I think. Then some people are even saying, I saw an article the other day that said Mike McCarthy's likely going to get fired. If he does get fired, that Pete Carroll would be the guy who the Dallas would go hire. I don't know if that's prediction.
That would be
but
not so bright.
No, it would not be bright at all.
Go get a 75-year-old to come in and turn the franchise around.
But
at that point, just go get Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you what.
He was fired up.
Yeah, the pre or halftime speech he gave on Fox.
Yeah, did you see that?
I mean, I think Michael Strahan was about to hit somebody.
You were tearing up.
Probably. Oh yeah, my boy.
Didn't it look like Jimmy was crying a little?
He was borderline.
Troy Aikman said he was really emotional about it. But let's go.
I think he really thought they were gonna win that game.
Let's roll.
So let's talk about let's look at from the guys at the top. If I'm right, I'm gonna flaunt this because I said I really thought Jim Harbaugh had a good chance to go back to Michigan, and everybody said there's no chance. I think it's looking more and more like he might actually do that.
No,
Where's
not.
Jim Harbaugh going? Let's start with that.
If I were him, I swear to you, if I were him, I'd go to the Bears. I'd bring in the USC quarterback. I'd bring him in, get rid of Justin Fields. He's a bum. Get rid of that guy. Toss him over to Atlanta. Give him to Atlanta.
JB said that he wouldn't draft a quarterback in this draft, that he would just trade the pick and get somebody. Do you think that's better than actually drafting one of these guys?
No, there's a ton of quarterbacks. What are you talking about?
Well, because none of them are that sure, and Caleb's looked really bad lately.
Yeah, well, Caleb's better than Justin Fields. Poor guy. He got stuck in with the throwing in the Bears situation. Anyway, I go get the Bears job, or I go – if I'm him, I go –
first of all, the Bears job's not available.
That's right. They brought back the coach. My bad.
Wait, did they actually re-sign him, or they just haven't made a decision yet?
They're saying that they are.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right.
They fired the OC, and they're going to bring a new OC in.
That's right. I heard that this morning. My bad.
The GM has said that they're keeping the Bears coach. Eberflus is staying.
Are they keeping Fields in too at that point?
I mean that doesn't necessarily mean that. I think Fields is going to get dealt.
Bottom line is, he will go to the Chargers if anywhere, just because of the climate out there, and that's what it is. But in essence, I do think that like I told you in the beginning of the year, they are going to come down on him. And so that's why he's getting these guarantees in his contract now that he can, if he interviews or whatever. But this is a cover your ass clause. Bottom line is, if I were him, I'd take the Washington job with the new owner. That's what I would take. I would not take the Chargers job.
I wouldn't touch
the
that
Chargers
job.
are stepchildren in L.A. They don't have their own. They're building their own facility. Who cares? Not a great job. I know he likes Herbert, but the bottom line is he can pick who he wants.
No pressure.
At this point.
They had released something that said the Raiders were, if they didn't sign Antonio Pierce, that they would bring Harbaugh and then give him an option to maybe take J.J. McCarthy. Not like in the early first, but like
his wife's not living.
Picked 13.
His wife is not living in Vegas, and they're not going to school in Vegas. You got to look at that situation. He's a family guy. Here's the bottom line: is if I'm him, I'm going to L.A. or I'm going to Washington.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up in L.A. I've already said that. Dylan thinks he may go back to school.
That organization.
I said last podcast maybe 20% chance he goes to school, but I heard Adam Schefter talking about it, and he said, look, he's gone into – this is the situation. He's gone into the Chargers and told them his list of demands, and if they do that, what he demands, and it's going to cost them a lot more money to do these things, he'll become their head coach. It's that simple. If they don't do it, then he'll probably go back to Michigan and try to work like the contract he is now. So
they say a couple of people in the
Chargers are going to do.
They say a couple of people in the Chargers organization don't really like him. Don't think he's the right idea.
Well, he is the right idea.
But the bottom line is,
idiotic to not give it to him with an option. Who are you going to get if you're
that's the point. The bottom line is they don't really have anybody else.
If the Chargers don't get Harbaugh, they're for sure getting the OC from Detroit. That's for sure going to happen. There'll be one because he would be an idiot, even if it's like $1 million less a year, to not go work with Justin Herbert.
No, I completely agree.
If you're the Chargers,
I'm just surprised that LA would go after that guy only because
I wouldn't.
They just hired a young, innovative guy. I know Staley was defense, and it's got to be offense, but still, it's kind of like the same. That's just the reason I thought, in my opinion, that if Harbaugh did go to the NFL,
they need to put butts in the seats.
That he would go to LA, because to me, that's the type of guy you're going to go with. If you just went with this guy, it was a disaster. You're going to go with an older guy, and like you said, I do agree. The guy's done a great job with the offense in Detroit. I mean, he turned Jared Goff, noodle arm Goff, into like a decent football player. I wouldn't say good, decent, but looking at it, to me, the only reason I would even consider Washington is because they have the number 2 pick. There's no way. I just don't see why you would want to live in Washington and deal with that.
His family's right down the turnpike. They're all right. His family lives all around there.
Could happen. I think he's going to end
up. His brother's in Baltimore. His mom and dad are right by there.
LA or Michigan.
My guess is, it's going to be one of those two. I think Dan Quinn.
If it's LA or Michigan, it's Michigan.
Dan Quinn will end up in, I'm going to guess, Seattle.
He shouldn't get a job.
Well, I agree with that.
He should
I wouldn't
not.
fucking
If
hire
you're
him after
dumb,
what I saw in the playoffs.
You hire him after
who goes to Washington then?
I don't know. Maybe Ben Johnson. I mean, is it Ben Johnson, the OC? Is that his name?
Yeah, Ben Johnson. There's also the other options out there. Obviously, Bill Belichick. Mike Vrabel, which
Vrabel would go to Washington.
I think that's a great. I think I can't believe that the Patriots didn't hire him. That's just blows my absolute mind that they would promote a linebackers coach and who has never been a coordinator over a guy who's been there in that organization, is loved by players. It makes absolutely zero sense. Somehow, Raheem Morris is in the conversation, which is just ridiculous to me. Bobby Slowick, the OC from the Texans, he's definitely an option.
Yeah, I think Vrabel will end up in Washington.
That's it for
Washington,
Vrabel.
Perhaps Atlanta. The only reason I would say he wouldn't end up in Atlanta is the simple fact that they hired Arthur Smith, who worked underneath him, and it was terrible. But Arthur Smith, that's a whole different, Vrabel would bring someone else to run the offense. If I'm Atlanta, I'm going to go get someone who is a coach that's been around the block, knows the NFL, and I'm trading for Justin Fields and running that kind of style offense with Bijan Robinson and Drake London, and they should be able to put up points with that system. But, the defense is okay, but, I'm not going out and hiring I think Vrabel's the right move for Atlanta, honestly. But
Vrabel, I don't think you would get along with Justin Fields. I think that a running quarterback drives you crazy. Vrabel's a guy that likes, stuck with Ryan Tannehill. He likes guys that sit in the pocket and throw the ball. He's an old school guy.
But Tannehill's more of, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, Tannehill's more of his,
but Vrabel's not an offensive guy anyway. So
no, but I'm saying his mindset is kind of I think he wants quarterbacks that can see the field, big guys. But anyway, he was a Tom Brady. So the bottom line is, I think that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at that is if they say that Belichick wants to go underperforming team would be the Atlanta Falcons. That's the only team he's going to face. If he goes to Dallas, he's screwed.
No, he loses to Carolina.
He can't go to Dallas if they're 12-4.
That's another. I forget about.
You go to
Carolina.
Dallas and he comes in and we lose 7 games. My God, it's over. Jerry's not hiring Bill Belichick.
Vrabel would be interesting in Carolina only because that defense is not. They're not.
Yeah, they're
bad.
not. Their secondary's good.
Yeah, and if you go get a young offensive coordinator to come in with them, listen, it's going to be a rebuild, but he would kind of
no one wants to deal with that owner in Carolina.
No, he doesn't, but I'm saying that could be his only option, and he's such an alpha male and he's played in the league. It's a guy that, is a player's coach that's played in the league. The Tepper's a lunatic. There's no doubt about it. But if you get certain guarantees in your contract, we're sure, I'll go try it. And if you get fired, you make $10 million.
That's what I was saying. I think whoever takes, I think Tepper wants to make a big splash, which is why I think actually, weirdly enough, and I've said this before, I think Bill Belichick's in play for Carolina.
He doesn't want an owner like that.
But the thing about it is, like I said, Turner mentioned a good point,
too. Let's get our picks.
We already did our picks.
No, our picks for who's going where.
I've already kind of given mine.
We're talking about that's what we're talking about. All this stuff. What do you mean?
But I'm saying
this guy's got a jet to fucking.
Hey,
you are the worst person to have on the podcast. You ruin the structure of the show. You do your own thing. I don't know why you asked. I don't want him on anymore. Only for 10 minutes of show. It's annoying.
Okay, what I'm saying is let's do our picks of coaches.
In the middle of when we're talking. When I'm talking.
Hey, real quick. Let's do our picks to who's going where.
All right.
That way that way we can do it that way.
All right.
How many open spots are there?
There's a ton. There's 18.
I'm gonna say Dan Quinn goes to Seattle.
All right.
I'm gonna say Harbaugh goes to the Chargers.
Okay.
Ben Johnson goes to the Commanders. I'm gonna say Vrabel. This is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna say Vrabel ends up in Carolina. I'm gonna take Bill Belichick going to the Atlanta Falcons because he's on record saying, I want a talented group that's underachieving. I would say they qualify for that. And Arthur Smith, getting a little bit older, got a ton of money, and he's on record saying that, nice guy in the community.
Arthur Blank, you mean?
Sorry, Arthur Blank, not Arthur Smith. Arthur Blank on record saying, I've made plenty of coaching mistakes. Hiring Bill Belichick technically can't be a mistake, so it makes him look a lot better. I'll do that. And then I'll say Tennessee. God, they're going to give the job to...
There's nobody left.
The Tennessee is going to hire within the division, and they're going to get the Texans OC. I'll say that.
Bobby
Slowick, yeah. Those are my official guesses.
Okay. Pick 3 of them yourself.
What?
Pick 3. Yours.
He's got to do all of them. If I had to do all of them, I could have done 3.
What are you talking about? Why would I pick 3?
I'm saying so I can be thinking real quick.
He's got places to fucking go,
But
dude.
listen to me.
He's hijacked this whole show. All right, let me go.
That's what he does.
Let me go. Be
No,
quiet.
I want to go 1, 2.
Antonio Pierce is going to the Raiders. That's obviously
I agree
set.
with that one.
We already know that. I think, man, I guess I really do think that Harbaugh is going back to Michigan, but I'm gonna say for now, if he goes to, I'll just say he's going to the Chargers, but I actually do think he's going back to Michigan. I'll say he's going to the Chargers. Man, I think somehow you kind of convinced me with Belichick going to Atlanta. I didn't really buy it before. The more I think about it with that defense, they actually have some talent on that defense. But man, I guess you know what? No, I'm gonna say something different. Let me say this. I think actually Vrabel's gonna end up in Atlanta. And I think Bill Belichick is going to somehow end up in Carolina. That might flip-flop, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ben Johnson is going to go, man, what's even left? I'm trying to think who I missed here. Ben Johnson's going to go to, weirdly enough, I think Ben Johnson might actually end up in Seattle because I think Dan Quinn lost his opportunity to get a job there. And I think Washington, man, I could get every one of these wrong here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say, I actually forgot one guy. Frank Smith, I think that's his name, is the OC for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think
he'll probably get a job
he's going to go to the Commanders. And I think that's everybody. The Titans is the only one left. Man, I don't even know who's going to go to the Titans. That's a tough job right now. They're going to hire somebody. Sorry, Bailey. They're going to hire somebody stupid. I'm going to say Bobby Slowick to the Titans from the Texans. I think that's where he goes.
Pete Carroll's going to go to.
I think Pete Carroll's done.
He might be done. I think
Pete Carroll's going to the UFL, dude.
Well,
I can't believe is the name of that.
We actually left Pete Carroll out, which is kind of weird.
I don't think he's going to get a job.
Everyone doesn't think he is. I think he's with that many openings, and you're just naming some guys. You're reaching for some of those guys, so he'd have to get something. I'd consider Pete Carroll over the OC for the Texans.
Yeah, the trend is
because if the Texans are success is CJ.
Texans.
Yeah, you said the OC for the Texans.
Oh, God, yeah, but
it's
I'm saying
young man's league.
I see.
Well, what I'm gonna say, if you're picking the OC for the Texans and you're assuming that their success is based upon him, which a lot of it probably is, but it's also based upon CJ Stroud. So the bottom line is, if you have to decide that if it isn't based upon the OC, then you make a mistake going with an OC from the Texans. Number one, I don't see him. I don't know. Maybe he'll get a job. I don't get it. I say, like I said, Belichick wants to underachieve. It is going to be the Falcons. It's a horrible.
That's the most likely spot for him.
Horrible spot for him. Horrible. I can't stand anything about that. That's going to be a horrible situation for him. Vrabel will go to Washington. If this is
I don't see that. Why would he go to Washington?
Because I just think he'll go to Washington. Now, if
these guys typically will take any head cut. I mean, if you get offered it, you're just going to take it.
And the bottom,
typically.
I just think you just had Ron Rivera, an old defensive guy.
Oh no, I know. Not to say that it makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying, like, as far as
because you take it. No, you're right.
You have an offensive coordinator in Washington from the Chiefs.
No, I don't think they're going to keep him.
Well, then he'd be. I know when they're saying he can't get hired. He's been interviewed 35 times. I know. I would love to see him there in Dallas yelling at everybody like he does, the OC for the Washington Redskins.
The enemy.
I would hate having him there. Like,
but
after
the bottom line is
Sam Howell this year.
The stepchild in this whole organization, in this whole picks, the stepchild is the Titans. That's the job that no one even been talking about. That's the redheaded stepchild, the little bitch stepchild.
I love how you say that with Carolina on the list just to get rise out of Bailey.
Because Carolina's job, no one would want. I'm seriously, they're gonna have to bring in a young guy.
They should give you the fucking job.
I mean, I can go fucking out there.
Stand off and Tepper.
But Carolina's job, literally, I don't think anybody's talking about because nobody wants that job. And if you do want that job, you're crazy.
I mean, I'll fucking take it. Give me a call.
The bottom line is he's smarter bringing in a top quarterback, a top college coach. He'd be smarter bringing in a college coach, that guy, than he would any of the old school pro guys. The coach, the owner from the Carolina Panthers. I'd bring in a top dog college coach for that team. So bottom line is, that's what I would do. Now, the only other pick is Dallas will stay with McCarthy. I said it all along. Done deal. Belichick, like I said, Falcons. And you said, who'd you say for Titans? The OC for
we both
Detroit.
said well, no. I said the OC for Detroit's going to Washington. I think that's who they're going to hire.
I think
it makes sense because of defensive. I think you're going to try to get a young offensive guy.
The OC for the Lions will go, if Harbaugh stays in Michigan, he will go to the Chargers.
Yeah,
if Harbaugh goes to the Chargers, he will go to the Titans.
Okay, got it.
Did he name all of his? I don't think.
And then the Houston would be the last resort. The Houston OC will be like the last guy picked.
You got to understand, a lot of people like him because
I know.
It's Kyle Shanahan offense. He's got the playbook. He knows the offense, and sure, C.J. Stroud's playing great. But
Who do you have him going to?
I said the Titans.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they want somebody offensive based.
That redheaded stepchild of a job, Bailey.
Yeah, that's
no one wants that fucking job.
Bailey's fucking fuming over there.
Hey, Bailey, that's like the scene from Major League where the old manager's there and he called and he's like, How'd you like to manage the Major League Ball Club of the Indians this year? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'll get back to you on it. Whatever. I'll let you know.
And I'm actually surprised Wade Phillips doesn't get a defensive coordinator job. Number one, you know what I would do if I'm Dallas? I let Dan Quinn go. By the way, Dan Quinn shouldn't go
Wade
anywhere.
Would do.
Dan Quinn shouldn't be hired anywhere.
Be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. By the way, the Seattle will hire Dan Quinn. It's a mistake. They'll probably hire him. And I think the dark. I got one dark horse and I'm done. Pete Carroll could end up in a head coaching job, and I think it's weird. I have a feeling if they don't get Harbaugh and the Chargers, they'll bring him in. I think they'll bring.
He's got an LA background. Coach SC.
I think they'll bring him in if the Chargers don't go to Harbaugh, they're bringing him in.
I think the Jets are calling you. No, the pilot's calling him saying,
"That's a scam call.
You better get down to the airport real quick, millionaire." Got to get to the.
We do have a treat tonight, though. Even though there's no football, the 7-32 Spurs are only 15.5-point dogs at the Celtics tonight. Ooh. So we have something to look forward to watch.
Hey,
tonight.
Last time the Celtics played a team that never won any games and went to overtime against the Pistons.
That's right. It did.
We got them right where we want them.
Hey, Wemby's got to be the rookie of the year.
And from now on, I need all the outline of the show.
From now on, you're going to come in and you're going to listen to what I say.
No,
it's my show.
In front of me. I need an outline.
This is my show, not yours.
All
you
right.
listen. You don't get to come in and hijack the show.
Need fucking outlines of the fucking show.
We told you what we were doing.
You call me in from the studio room where I'm working on hits.
You were watching First Take.
Fucking hits.
You were watching First Take.
And you fucking bring me in here and you're talk about the remaining playoffs, and then I was going to give you my coaching carousel picks, like even in the dark ones. The bottom line is, watch. The dark horse here is my boy Pete Carroll. Okay?
No one's hiring
He's the
Pete,
dark horse.
brother.
No one's talking about it. And by the way,
no one chews a piece of gum.
I'm kind of curious why the press has not mentioned one coach to the Titans. Seriously. There has not been any discussion, nor Carolina.
Bailey probably knows the whole breakdown because he gets Titans.
All right,
reports,
Bailey, real quick. Have they talked about anybody
at
the Titans? Have they? Who? Who the fuck are they interviewed?
Condoleezza Rice.
Who else?
Condoleezza Rice.
Seriously, who have they interviewed?
That woman owner in Tennessee's bringing Condoleezza Rice and Denzel Washington.
Okay, so real quick, let's end it with this. What coaches left in the playoffs could get job interviews? OCs.
It said the Titans scheduled a second in-person interview with the Bengals OC Brian Callahan.
So real quick,
that's because his daddy coached the league forever. Okay, I assume it's that Callahan.
Who left in the playoffs has any coaches could go to a team?
Who
Texans,
in the playoffs? The Texans.
No
OC.
Baltimore, not the San Francisco staff.
I mean, who's the defensive
staff,
coordinator
not
of
the Chiefs staff, not the Bills staff. Who else?
The Todd Monken's the OC, but I don't know if he wants to be a head coach. He came from Georgia.
All right.
So, you know who they need to hire? Your boy Wink Martingale. That's who.
What happened? Didn't he storm out cursing Dayball the other day? That's a legendary move right there.
Oh, Wink.
So all I can say is,
honestly, sorry, when Cowboys, if Dan Quinn leaves for a head coaching job, they should just go get Wink and they'd bring 7 guys every single time.
It would be the complete opposite of what you have.
It'd be the complete opposite. You just leave all your corners on islands.
No, I would love it.
And honestly, it might not be a horrible idea, to be honest with you.
No, it's not.
Pretty horrible.
No. He's terrible. He's terrible as far as what he calls, but as far as the Cowboys just being able to play man on the back end, if you bring extra guys, It would be fun to watch.
Bottom line is, if Dallas was smart, they would go bring in Vrabel and give him a ton of money, knowing that Mike's out next year. They bring in Vrabel as a defensive coordinator.
He would.
And I want this as the featured part of the show.
Yes.
I want you to edit the show down where I'm saying this actual thing. Because this show, you didn't give me an outline, so I'm all over the place.
We've never had an outline.
Let me tell you something. I want a fucking outline. My agent wants an outline before I fucking come on this piece of shit show again. So this is the thing.
The show that you helped design and build the setup that you just called a piece of shit?
For a guy that said he was only going to talk 10 minutes, I'll tell you what, he sure do go over.
Hey, real quick.
For the show that got its first guest ever as Coach JB, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, JB.
My idea. Hey, real quick. I was about to say, now you let me fucking lose my train of thought. What was I talking about?
No outlines. But
I was going to give it. I was going to give Vrabel.
There you go.
Vrabel goes to Dallas. You give him an amazing amount of money. He knows he's up for the head coaching job. He kicks ass as a defensive coordinator. You bring him in. You give him the head coaching job next year. Win-win. He's controllable by Jerry. Jerry's never putting any kind of Belichick in there. That's it. And all I want to talk about next year is Cowboys, UT, and the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl winners, okay?
Or we could bring back, here's another great idea for the Cowboys. Get rid of McCarthy and bring back Jason Garrett.
I would love it.
And Dave Campo as his defensive coordinator.
No, Dave Campo, head coach, Jason Garrett, OC.
There you go. And the other thing is, at this point next year, if Wade does pretty good in USFL, whatever it's called, UFL, he should get a job.
Well, he should always have a defense coordinating job, but the problem is, and he'll tell you this because he's told us before, it's a young man's league. It's impossible to get hired.
We are
as
the
an
guy.
old guy.
Hey, what do I call it?
Stupid.
As I tell Bailey, we are the dinosaurs, the real fucking smart guys.
That's right.
And we actually are. There's few of us left.
Dude, I mean,
there's few of us. And we are the dinosaurs. We're the smartest generation ever. My age group, the smartest.
You raised
70,000.
This generation's fucking the stupidest generation ever.
Raised our generation, didn't you?
It's the it was a fuck up. The stupidest generation ever is this generation.
I will say, though, it really is true when it comes to, like, being a coordinator. Like, if you were smart, like, if you were Ben Johnson and you had any brain power at all, or anybody who's a brilliant offensive mind, what you do is you bring in an old vet like Wade Phillips to run your defense, and he takes care of all that. You just worry about the offense. He's a former head coach. All the players love him, and they play hard for him. That's what you do. You don't bring in your buddy who's also 36 and, whatever. Oh, he's going to do a good job.
Plus, you have someone to go to it or for advice, too, if you're a first-time head coach who's been there, done that, you know.
And they're not trying to take your job. They know they're old.
And there is a possibility, even though I don't think it should happen, that the offensive coordinator for UT will end up in a head coaching job. The actual offensive coordinator for the Texas Longhorns could get a coaching job.
Call the plays.
What are you talking about?
I thought they said no.
Steve Sarkisian calls the plays.
They got a hot shot. Who's the hot offensive coordinator in the college right now? They were talking about this morning.
Talking about the guy from Washington?
No.
Kyle Flood is the offensive coordinator for
Kyle
Texas.
Flood. That's him.
Kyle Flood doesn't call the plays.
Kyle Flood is some teams are looking at Kyle Flood, so you'll know.
All right. There you have it.
I just typed in Kyle Flood NFL and not a thing came up.
I'm telling you, I picked dark horses.
That wasn't even the guy he heard.
No, I swear it was UT. It was UT.
That wouldn't be a dark horse. That'd be a dead horse. Like something like Retama Park breaking their leg and they got to put it out of its misery out there on the track.
Hey, by the way,
there's a 0.00 chance that, what's this guy's name?
Kyle Flood.
That Kyle Flood gets an NFL head coaching
job. Listen, I predict dark horses, son of a bitches.
Yes,
Real quick, I want to say one thing, too. There will, at this rate, when you're naming all those teams, 8 teams, because they're only concentrating on 6 or 7, 3 or 4 in the media, you will have to bring in a college coach. There's going to have to be a college coach hired. There are not enough good candidates that haven't coached themselves out of a job, Dan Quinn being one of them, possibly Pete Carroll, that they do not bring in a hot college coach. I can't believe they wouldn't think about it, especially if I'm Carolina. That's it.
Okay, this guy, folks, has got a plane to catch. He's heading to Aspen, right? What time are you taking?
Pilot just texted me.
Pilot just texted me.
Yes, I'm going skiing, bitch.
You're such a liar.
Oh, my gosh. Are you crazy? Got my skis. Everybody waiting for me?
He's just trying to say.
Did I show you the jet?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Hey, okay. God damn.
Big Dog's leaving.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey. Big Dog, have fun on those bunny slopes, brother.
For my segment, just hijack the show. That's going to be my new segment.
That is, yeah. Honest.
Hijack with Big Dog.
Sorry to Draymond Green.
He couldn't make it on.
He was waiting, but we ran out of time. We'll try to squeeze him in next time. But thank you for tuning in to the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast. Thank you again to Jason Brown, JB.
Coach JB.
I'll put his Twitter handle and all that stuff at the bottom at the real JB. And go check out his show and all of his stuff. Hate Me Now, Love Me Later. His book is on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or hard copy. I think he does an autograph version on his website as well. Go get you a Slapdick cigar or Slapdick whiskey, whatever, on JB's website. But thanks again for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully we're going to have some more interview guests on soon. We got a guest coming next week, which will be a treat for us. We'll talk a little bit of hoops for the first time this year. So thanks again, and have a great week and enjoy the NFL playoffs.